So thank you very much for taking the time to come on, everyone, this evening. We really appreciate it. My name's Sharon. I'm part of the Get Slim in Turkey team. And the reason that you've all been invited on tonight is at some point you've either made an inquiry directly with Get Slim in Turkey, or you've been in contact with Lauren, who we're inviting on as our guest speaker tonight, and I'll introduce her in a moment. If you're all obviously at the point in your journey whereby you're thinking about having surgery, we appreciate that it's probably going to be one of the biggest decisions that you're ever going to make. And it's probably almost one of the most important decisions and the most exciting decisions. Bear with me a wee second, guys.
Yeah, come straight on.
Sorry, I've just muted someone there. So yeah, we know it's going to be a really big decision and a really exciting decision for you as well. And really what we want to do tonight is to help give you as much information as we possibly can. We will answer all of your questions. And more than anything, we just want to reassure you and help you to make a really informed decision about taking the next step to actually having surgery. What I think is probably the best way to start is give you a little bit of background information about Get Slim in Turkey itself, which will take me a minute or two. And then what I'll do is I will hand over to Lauren, who, as I say, will be our guest speaker. And then after that, I'll give you some more information about, obviously, suitability, the company itself. I'll explain to you about why people choose Get Slim in Turkey and give you a lot more information. But the one thing that I would like to say is that as we go through the call tonight, we've got so many people on here. If you have got any questions whatsoever, please go into the chat box, because we've got so many of our team on hand tonight specifically to answer any questions that you have, okay? But first of all, a little bit about Get Slim itself and where we started, and it's always a good place to start back at the beginning. So the two ladies that own Get Slim in Turkey are two British ladies. Their names Tracy and Amanda. And 6 years ago, they had gastric sleeve surgery themselves. And it was obviously a huge success. Everybody saw such a difference in them. And people started asking them questions like, where did you actually go to have your surgery? And because they were reaching out to so many people and answering so many people's questions, they realised that there were so many people like you on here tonight who, you know, just need that wee bit of extra guidance and that bit more information. And what happened quite organically is Get Slim in Turkey was born. And up until now, believe it or not, there has now been over 18,000 people, 18,000, which is a phenomenal amount of people who have all now had surgery with Get Slim. So really, as I say tonight, this is all about giving you as much information as we possibly can. And what I think the first thing that I'd like to do is introduce you all to our guest speaker, Lauren. And I'm sure a lot of you have been invited on by Lauren tonight. Basically, she has got a really, really inspiring and really fantastic story to share. And what we'll do tonight as we go through is I'll just ask her some questions that I know are the questions that so many people want to know about. And then we can take some time to, if you want to, as you go along, please do just right away type and ask any questions that you may have as well. So I'm going to try and find Lauren in amongst all the callers here, or if you can see the unmute button, Lauren, would you be able to unmute yourself? In fact, I've just pressed it for you. I've done it.
Yeah, I'm unmuted, aren't I?
There you go. So here we can see you there. Hi there, Lauren. How are you?
Hello. I'm all right. How are you? Hi, everyone.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us tonight, Lauren. We really, really appreciate it.
Oh, I couldn't wait.
Oh, fantastic. That's so nice to hear. So I think if it's okay, because we're really mindful of time tonight, and I'm sure everybody's dying to hear all your story and everything that you have to share with us. So if it's okay, can I just do a few sort of questions with you tonight and just sort of let you expand on your answers and share with everybody your story? And the first thing that I would like to ask is, what was your reason in the first place for having surgery?
Obviously, I was unhealthy with my weight. I started off at 20 stone 8 pounds. I was actually borderline diabetic. I struggled with IBS. I struggled with mental health. And I just kind of woke up one day and was just like, you know, I'm sick of feeling like this. Researched into Get Slim for a while, had a few friends that had been with Get Slim. So
oops, Lauren, it's gone muted. I'm so sorry. Could you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, it said it muted
Sorry.
everyone for some reason.
Sorry. There was new people being admitted and it muted everyone. I'm very sorry about that. Sorry,
That's
please
all
carry
right.
on.
That's all right. So those were my main when I actually originally went to the doctors first about it, and I didn't find I got a lot of support from them, and I feel like a lot of people have been in that position where they've tried to take the NHS route, and I didn't get the help that I needed through them, and that's kind of why I went privately, because I was really desperate. I was really unhappy with my weight. I was really like my IBS wasn't helping either with my health, and it was quite a well-known thing that losing weight does help that. And now I've taken that route, I've actually got to the point where I've lost 6 stone now within a year. I now weigh 14 stone 8 pounds. I'm completely off my antidepressants now, and I'm not on any medication for my IBS. My IBS is non-existent, and I've dropped 5 dress sizes, and my confidence is like skyrocketed.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. What a fantastic story. And that's all happened in such just a short space of time, in the space of 12 months.
Yeah, do you know what, it's after I lost my first 4 stone, I lost my first 4 stone quite quickly at the start, and even after I lost 2 stone, I look back at the photos of when I lost 2 stone and I look at that and still think I look big, but at the time, because I'd lost 2 stone, I still felt really good. So it's mad that like just from losing 2 stone, I straight away started feeling good. Like my mental health was better, my IBS was already better, and now I've lost 6 stone. It's got like, I didn't even think it could get better, but it did.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And do you mind if I ask the question, Lauren? Look, what actually made you choose Get Slim in Turkey? Because I'm guessing that you did quite a lot of research. What made you come with our company?
Don't get me wrong, I was very scared and nervous about going abroad, as a lot of people I find probably that have joined this call are a bit unsure about going abroad, and there is a lot of stigma behind it. And obviously for me personally, because I've now had the experience going abroad, I'm very passionate about how well I got treated in Turkey, and I had a lot better treatment there than I did with the NHS, which I didn't expect. I was very mind blown with how well I was looked after. But the original reason why I went with Get Slim is because I actually had a few friends and a few clients that went with you guys, which did make me feel a lot more comfortable, because it was recommendation. I feel like recommendation is so important, and that's why like I blog my whole journey, because for me, I wouldn't recommend you if I didn't have a good experience. Like I trust you guys from a personal experience. I wouldn't, you know, if you at the end of the day, people are putting, you know, their lives at risk, and it is life changing. And I did a lot of research. Like I joined like the Facebook group, I researched a lot of girls like me who blog their journeys on TikTok and Instagram. I watched all of their videos from start to finish, and they raved about you as well. So like watching all of that online, and even joining the forums, made me feel so much better. I even made my mum and dad watch a lot of people's TikToks who had blogged their journeys with you, because they weren't okay with me going abroad originally. And then after they watched that, they felt loads better like I did. So it helped. The research definitely is important, and recommendation is definitely important.
Fantastic. And I mean, it's interesting that you say that, but of the 18,000 or so patients that we've had with us, the majority actually have also come through recommendation as well. So what you've actually just said almost mirrors that as well. So that's nice to hear. Can I ask you a question that a lot of people ask us is about what happens when you arrive in Turkey, and what about the hospital, and what about the staff? I mean, can you tell us what was your experience with, first of all, the hospital, and then tell us a wee bit about the staff and the carers and the doctors and everyone that you came into contact with? Can you give us a wee bit of information about that?
Yeah, do you know what? I think that is the most important thing, because I was so like blown away by the experience. And I think going with you guys with Get Slim made a massive difference, because I know you can book the surgery directly through the hospital. And don't get me wrong, the hospitals that you use are amazing. They're very modern, new, very clean. The staff are great. But what makes it even better is like you as a company, you're so supportive, and you're there as obviously the translator, and you're just there every step of the way. Whenever I needed someone from Get Slim, they were literally there. And even the staff, like they were like constantly looking after me, constantly checking in on me, which I don't feel like I've ever had in the UK before. So that's why I was like very much blown away by the situation. And the hospital, I never imagined it to look the way it did. When I turned up, I was like, oh my God, wow. I was like, this is like posh. So I was like, this is real. And even my My room was so nice, like being in a posh hotel, and then all the staff are just really friendly, and it made me feel really comfortable, and like I wasn't as nervous.
Yeah, fantastic. And can I ask you to maybe tell us a little bit about the Get Slim in Turkey carers, because that's one of the things that we pride ourselves on, because all of our staff are with you 24/7. They are all English speaking, but as much as we can tell people that, to hear it from yourself firsthand, I mean, could you elaborate on that if you don't mind?
Yeah, I can give you an example. So even when I went down for my endoscopy, I had a lady with me. This is really bad because I'm really rubbish at names. I'm trying to remember the name off the top of my head, but she was so lovely. I felt like she became my friend at the end of it. But she literally was holding my hand when I like went down for my endoscopy. I woke up and she was holding my hand. She was literally there as I woke up. And then when I went into theatre, like when they wheel you in, she was there to the very door and was like, "You'll be okay. Like I'll be here when you wake up." And she was like, I've never ever known that kind of like service before, and it was so nice. It made me feel so safe.
Lovely. And that's really nice to hear. And that is the genuine feedback that we get from everyone, because it is a really important part of it, that especially if you're traveling here on your own for surgery, you want to feel that you have got someone
Yeah,
there to support you, and the carers are there
yeah,
with you 24/7. So it's nice that you're actually saying that from first-hand experience, Lauren.
yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. And another question that we get asked an awful lot, which I think would be nice for you to share, is like, how did you feel the first few days after your surgery, and then probably the first few months after surgery? How did that all sort of feel for you?
Obviously, everyone, I must admit, from my personal experience, I did wake up uncomfortable, but you know, at the end of the day, you are having 80% of your stomach removed, so that is expected. So I was expecting a little bit of pain, but the pain that I woke up with did last maybe like an hour maximum, and then it started to die down and was like, I was very much like an uncomfortable pain, and then I got up walking within 2 hours, and I was just very tender, very tired. So like the fact that I could wake up and walk just shows you that it's not unbearable. Like you can get through it, and I would do it all over again. For the pain and discomfort that I had temporarily for the results I've got now. So yeah, first waking up, you are in a little bit of pain, but it, like I said, it is bearable. You can walk, you can talk, you can go to the toilet, you can wash yourself. Obviously you have to still be careful, but you'll always have people there. Like you can ask even the staff in the hospital, including the staff from Get Slim, they'll help you like they did me. I had my friend with me who also helped me, so I was very lucky. But yeah, that was like, I found when I first woke up, and then towards like I'd say the next day I felt pretty much normal.
Yeah.
And then I was just feeling a bit tender, like I'd done like sit-ups. Felt like I'd done loads of sit-ups at the gym, I think, obviously where they'd done the incisions. And then getting my flight back to the UK, I was fine. I just felt tired, and I just couldn't obviously lift anything heavy. And I was just very tight on the stomach. The flight was fine. I didn't feel sick. I just drank my water where I needed. And literally when I got home, I was that fine. I literally went and did a food shop and then went home with my food shop. And then after that, with the I had 10 days off work altogether,
Okay.
including obviously the time in away with Get Slim. And when the day that I went back to work, I did feel a little bit tired still, but I'm a self-employed makeup artist, beauty therapist. I work from home, so it wasn't strenuous, but I was able to do like normal tasks and stuff. And even before I started work, I was able to go to the toilet by myself, so I was able to make food by myself. I was allowed to walk around. Like you can do normal things. You just have to be very careful, very wary of the area in your where your incisions are, and not lifting anything heavy. And then I'd say I got back to normal with work within a week, and then like had no problems at all. The only thing I'd say, I just felt a little bit tired, but obviously that's going to be normal because you're recovering. And I was on liquid food, and I found the liquid stage very easy, to be honest with you. It was the puree stage I wasn't that sure on. I think it's because of the texture. And then I just found that it got easier and easier. So it is a massive life-changing thing that you go through, but it gets easier as time goes by, and then when you start seeing the results, you're like, oh, okay, this is amazing, like this is worth it to me, like just keep going. And obviously the thing with weighing yourself, I weighed myself with what I called a weigh-in Wednesday. So I'd weigh myself every Wednesday, log that down, and try not to, piece of advice, don't weigh yourself more than once a week, because your weight will go up and down depending on your recovery stage, the swelling and everything. And then like the weight started coming off very quickly. My first week I lost 10 pounds. But I'd like to just say to people in here, don't compare your journey to anyone else's, because everyone is different. Some people will lose a lot in the first week, which is most people, but some people don't. Some people lose more in the second week, and you can have stalls as well, like in the like between the second week and the sixth week, find that your weight can kind of like stay the same, and then all of a sudden you'll lose a big chunk again. But everyone's different, so I don't want people to compare and think, oh, why are they losing quicker than me, or why I'm not losing much. I have that all the time in my DMs, but everyone is different and everyone does it at their own pace. As long as you're following the advice that you got given from Get Slim and the dietitian, then you'll be absolutely fine, hitting your protein goals and everything every day, and your fluids as well. I don't know, does that cover everything?
Yeah, no, that's really interesting, and I think it's important to sort of answer those kind of questions, because it's the things that people want to know about. And then see, just sort of fast forward and more to sort of maybe the more recent, most last 6 months, Lauren, can you tell us about how your overall surgery has impacted your life, like for like socializing, your career, going out dining with friends? And because people say, you know, can you still go to restaurants? Can you still eat and do the things that you want to do? Like,
yeah,
tell us your story.
Okay, I'm not saying that losing weight gets you a boyfriend, but it did me. So I lost my first 2 stone, and that's when I met my boyfriend that I have now. But the only reason why I met him is because I felt confident enough to go on a date. And it's just weird enough that the first guy that I went on a date with after losing my first lot of weight, I now end up with a boyfriend, and he's been with me ever since. You know, he's seen me lose all the weight. He's loved me from when I was bigger to now, which is amazing. And he's been there through all the stages. So what was your other question you said about the...
Well, you know, for example, going to restaurants, if you're wanting to eat out after surgery, you know, how do you handle that? How do you cope with that? And is it easy enough for you to still have the food that you want? Because I'm sure these are things that people are curious to know.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me that all the time, because I'm a big foodie, always have been, even with going out and trying new foods. When you first start off trying to like work out what your portions are, you do still serve yourself up or order yourself stuff. You order too much, you just will, because it's going to take you a while to get used to your portions. But what I always done when I'd go out to eat, I would order a starter. And even at the start, when I'd order that starter, I wouldn't eat the whole thing. I would actually take a doggy bag home and I would finish that later when I got home. Don't get me wrong, I did go for, you know, I would always go for like more of the healthier option. I'm not saying everyone's perfect after they've had a gastric sleeve. You do still want to eat the naughty stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's in moderation and you're careful, because we can all get, which you've all probably heard of, the dumping syndrome. And obviously you want to lose the weight still. You still want to work hard at it. So when you go out to eat, you can go out to eat. You can pretty much eat what you want within reason. And the moderation is still small, but you will notice over time that your stomach will slowly allow you to eat a little bit more at a time. I'm a year out now, and I still go to restaurants and I order a starter, and I can finish a starter now. And maybe like a little bit extra of like my boyfriend's meal or something, depending on my restriction, because my restriction's different every day. But what I don't mind now, and I've got used to it, when I eat, I love the fact that I can actually take a doggy bag home and within an hour's time I'm hungry again, because obviously when I've eaten quite a little amount, I then will finish that off when I get home, or maybe the next day. And that, I think that's why it doesn't bother me, because I know I can take it home and finish it off when I get home, and it's not a waste. Yeah, I can't explain it. You just get used to it. It's a mentally changing. Your relationship with food becomes so different. Like, I can't explain it unless you go through it. You just get so more understanding of food, and you have such a better relationship with food.
And is it fair to say it's all about portion control, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I can, don't get me wrong, that like you, I don't know if you guys have, you know, heard what we call the slider foods, which is like crisps, biscuits and chocolate. Because they're not high in protein, obviously they don't fill you up as quick, and it is hard because you can easily eat a lot of it. But you still can't overdo it, because you will end up making you can make yourself feel a little bit unwell from eating it too much. But most of the time when I am eating it, I don't know what it is, I can't bring myself to eat too much of it anyway, because your mind, when you look at that food, you just think, I don't actually want any more. Like, whereas I used to be able to have a whole tube of Pringles and smash that out, whereas now I'll have like a few and be like, I'm done now. Even if I'm not full, I'm just done.
Yeah, amazing. And probably, I'm conscious of time, but I would like to sort of close with one final question and ask, what would your advice be, Lauren, for anyone who's been considering having gastric sleeve for a while, who's been sitting on the fence, that, you know, they're sort of just stalling on making the decision? What would your advice to them be?
Obviously, that do your research, and that's another reason why a lot of you are here, which I think is an amazing idea, because it is going to make you feel a lot better about making this decision, because it is a big decision to make, and you should make a decision when you are ready. But I just feel like doing your research is important, going through recommendation is important, and the reason why I blogged my journey to blog literally everything was to help people like you guys on here. Because when I was researching, don't get me wrong, I came across people's pages that were helpful, but there was things that they didn't talk about that I now go through, and I'm like, why didn't they talk about that? Why did I not know about that? So then I just blog everything to help people. So even if it's not just my page, just follow and watch loads of people's journeys on TikTok and Instagram to make you feel a lot more better. And just talk about it with friends and family. I know people go through this situation when they do have friends and family that don't agree with going abroad, but do even what I did. I showed my parents videos of people's journey to make them feel better, to reassure them. And that's basically how it reassured me, doing all the research and following other people's journeys. So that's what I would do if it was to make you feel better.
Fantastic, great. Listen, some really, really good advice, and it's just lovely to hear genuinely from someone that has had surgery with us. So thank you so much for sharing your story. We really, really appreciate it. And what I'm going to do now, if that's okay, is I'm going to sort of give a little bit more information for everybody that's probably thinking about, you know, what's the sort of suitability requirements, etc. I'll just go through and give a wee bit more detail, if that's okay. And as I'm chatting away, anybody at all on the call, if you have, I'm seeing that some people are writing questions. There was people, you were too busy speaking, Lauren, but there's people saying you're looking absolutely fantastic and you're looking beautiful and giving you loads of lovely compliments. So you probably didn't even get a chance to see that, but it was nice to see. But there's a lot of people that are asking questions, so that's great. Just keep asking your questions, everyone, because the team are on hand and they will answer as much as they possibly can for you. So what I'm going to do just now, we've literally got about 9 minutes left. So again, thank you very much for your time, Lauren, much, much appreciated. Thank you. So if you are thinking, you know, I'm very interested in having surgery, am I suitable? The criteria to have surgery is that your BMI has to be 30 or above. If you're not too sure what that is, speak with our team. They can take your height and weight and they'll be able to calculate it very simply for you. And the only other information that we need to know is, what medications are you taking? Do you have any illnesses? Do you have any allergies? Have you had any previous surgeries? And how old are you? That's basically the information that we need to then determine how suitable you are for surgery. So if you haven't checked it already, I would recommend, please do reach out tonight, speak with our colleagues, and they'll be able to sort of answer that question for you. Another thing that people generally ask us is, you know, why would I choose Get Slim in Turkey? I think Lauren has probably answered most of that for you, so I'll give you some information. But as I touched on earlier, the company has been established for 6 years. And the reason why that is so important is that we are sort of one of the first companies in Turkey to invite people from the United Kingdom and Ireland to come over for surgery. The 6 years experience that we have speaks absolute volumes, and it is the reason why we've got over 18,000 patients who have had surgery with ourselves. Like I touched on and Lauren mentioned as well, most people that actually do come over come over on the back of a recommendation from someone that has had an absolutely amazing service from ourselves. The other thing it's important to mention as well when you're doing your research and looking to make a decision is that we are accredited, and that is very, very important. So we are monitored and we have to reach particularly high standards. So if that's something that, you know, is going to be something that's really important to you, we absolutely do tick that box for you. And the other very, very important thing is that there are English speaking carers who are with you, who are dedicated Get Slim in Turkey staff, and they are with you 24/7. And like Lauren was saying, they will hold your hand, they'll be there with you, and they'll make you feel very, very welcome. And probably the majority of people that actually do come to Turkey for the surgery do come on their own. I mean, you've got the option to bring a companion if you want to, but just to give you peace of mind, if you are coming over on your own, you really don't have anything to be concerned about, because if you go onto our YouTube channel, you'll see lots of like videos from in the hospital, people who've all come over for the same reason. They've had surgery, they've made friends, they're all sort of doing their exercises and dancing in the corridors and stuff like that. So we make everybody feel very, very welcome. The other important thing to mention is we also do have a dedicated aftercare team who are all English speaking. They give you all the support and advice that you want throughout the whole of your journey. And Lauren touched on something earlier, which I would recommend if you are not already part of our private Facebook group. There's over 15,000 members and it is by invite only. Please message your team and they'll be happy to invite you onto the group. And it's a really, really lovely community of like-minded people. But the important thing to mention is that it's people like Lauren who have had surgery, or people like yourselves who are thinking about coming on that journey. But it's people who are wanting to share their stories and give you the real side of what the gastric surgery is like with themselves. So I would recommend, if you're not on the private Facebook group, ask your team to invite you on, and it'd be sort of great to see you on there. There's, as I say, over 15,000 people on the group. The other thing that I would recommend that everyone does straight after the call, if you haven't already got it on your phone, please go onto the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and download the Get Slim in Turkey app. You just simply type in Get Slim in Turkey. And the thing is, everything that we've been discussing tonight, it gives you all the information about gastric surgery itself. It gives you the information about the different packages, lots of frequently asked questions, lots of before and after pictures. So, you know, if you're wanting to see some of the journeys that our patients have been on, everything is on the app and the information is really good. You can also track your weight, check your BMI, you can do everything on the app. So if you don't have it on your phone, I can see some people there in front of their phone already. I can see you there, Linz, downloading it. So that's great. Please do download. Yeah, there we go. I can see it on the screen. She's downloaded it. Fantastic. So that's great. Another thing I'd like to touch on quickly is what to expect at the hospital. And Lauren kind of touched on it. People are amazed when they come to Turkey because the standard of the care and how thorough the doctors, etc., are way exceeds what most people tell us they've experienced when any time they've visited hospital on the NHS. So I'm just going to quickly tell you what's included. So the tests that you can expect to have at the hospital would be blood tests, urine tests, x-rays, ultrasound, ECG, you'll have a respiratory function test, and you'll also have endoscopy, and you will be asleep for that. The consultations that you'll have and the people that you'll be meeting will be like your anaesthetist, the cardiologist, chest specialist. We've got an internal medicine consultant. There's also a psychiatrist, and we've got the bariatric surgeon who will obviously do surgery with you as well. So you'll get to meet all these people in advance. And one of the questions that we do get asked quite a lot is, do you have to go on any kind of special diet before surgery? And the answer is actually no. Our surgeons are so experienced. They do these surgeries day in, day out, and they have done for years. So they can operate with inflated livers, and they also have the equipment to assist with fatty livers during surgery as well. So I think it's important just to sort of mention that. We're running out of time, so we've got 3 minutes left, so I'm going to just sort of give a whistle-stop tour on the different packages that we have. If you've got any last-minute questions that you want to ask, please do ask them just now. And what I'm going to do, just to let you know, at the end, when this call cuts out in 3 minutes' time, I'm going to log back in again. So if anybody's got any questions that they haven't had time to answer, please log back into the call, and there'll be another 40-minute window for people who have got any questions that haven't been answered as yet. But with regards to the packages that we have, we've got different packages which are in different hospitals, and they've got different prices, and options to have us book your flights or you book your flights. So I'm going to go through it just very quickly, but all the packages that I'm going to sort of tell you about here include everything that I mentioned to you earlier. So we've got the pre-op tests, the surgery itself, the transfers to and from the airport, you get your complimentary night at the hotel, and you get your post-op medication pack with your protein shakes and everything, which is worth between £200 and £300. You've got all your online support with English speaking coordinators and our aftercare team. So everything's obviously all included. So the classic package basically includes everything that I've just described to you there. And basically that is the one where you would book your own flights. The price is different depending on the hospital that you go to. So Kusadasi Hospital is in Kusadasi, which is where you're based. And we have Özel Sağlık, which is in Izmir, where the airport is, which is roughly about an hour away from Kusadasi. So the classic package at the Kusadasi Hospital is £2,900 or €3,400. And with that one, as I say, you book your own flights and the deposit to start the ball rolling is £300. And everything else is paid once you arrive in Turkey. The Özel Sağlık price is €3,250 or €3,750. So that's for the classic package where you book your own flight. If you would like us to book the flight for you, we've got the all-inclusive package, which means that basically we do everything for you. At the Kusadasi Hospital, which is in Kusadasi, the price is £3,099 or €3,600. If you go to the Özel Sağlık in Izmir, the price is €3,250 or €3,750. And the 3 airports that we use in the UK are Stansted, Manchester and Dublin. And for anybody that's looking for the premium sort of VIP package, that takes place in Izmir at Özel Sağlık, and the price is £3,800 or €4,360. And I know that I've gone through that very quickly, but the team are on hand to give you more information. And as I say, what I would suggest is download the app. All the information with all the prices and everything that we've discussed and way more is on there. So if you're really at the point whereby you're thinking, you know, I would like to take the next steps and get booked in or ask more questions, what I would suggest you do is please do reach out to the person that invited you onto the call tonight, whether that be our team or whether some of you are on with Lauren tonight. Get back in contact, ask all the questions that you have, and think about the dates that you'd like to come, and we'll be more than delighted to help and get you booked in. But I would like to just sort of end very quickly before this cuts off and say thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time to come with us and come onto the call tonight. The airport in Izmir that people are asking is Adnan Menderes Izmir Airport. It's Izmir Airport. But when this cuts out, if you'd like to log back in again, there'll be another 40 minutes available and we will answer